All right, everybody, we are back. We are now on, I believe, round 12 of the Hyperdrive season, eclipsing the halfway point of the season. We currently are P4, I believe, in points, very close to P3. Kieran leads the points by a lot, followed by Jordy Boxtel, Chaurier, then myself. Then there is a decent gap to the rest of the field. But I believe this was the race, or the previous race started, that Lynx, the guy that is in the other McLaren, is officially in that seat full time, which is great because he's consistently making Q3, scoring points, which really helps revive our chances at making a decent run of constructors as well. So still a lot to fight for this season. Maybe winning the championship is a big stretch at this point, but it is my personal goal to get at least second. At least second in both drivers and constructors. Both very difficult goals to achieve, but both very doable, I think. And I always like having something to fight for, which is something I like about racing games. Whether you're in the back, the middle, the front, you always got something to compete for every single time you step out onto the track. And here, as you can clearly see, we are at France. We're joining here in Q3. Q1 and 2, very boring, even though Q2 did have wet running. Got through both easy, set a lap, chill in the pits, retire. Q3 is where things will most likely start to get interesting. Obviously, we want as good of a finishing position as possible in the Q3 session. France is always a track that I felt like pretty decent at, but I always seem to have really bad luck here at France, so hopefully we can turn that around today. Turn 1, ride the curbs on the outside. Could have took a little bit more curb on the inside there. Decent run through the first chicane nonetheless, and that honestly was the part of the lap that was giving me the most trouble in practice. The rest of the lap I felt very strong in. And I did make a lot of changes to my setup compared to my time trial time setup. Obviously minimizing the tire pressures because tire temperature is a big problem on this track. France has always been one of, if not the worst tracks in the entire game for tire temperatures. I would say it's definitely on the hot list of top 3, along with Monaco and probably Hungary for tracks where I have trouble with tire temps. Well, pretty much everyone does. And I also had issues finding what a good wing setup was for the race, because obviously you got to find that balance between being able to take the corners decent but not giving up too much in a straight line, because got to be able to overtake. So even if you have 2 setups that are about the same pace you're running with, or if you're running basically the same time with 2 setups, always take the one with more straight line speed, because that's going to allow you to make the overtakes done more quickly and allow you to defend your position more easily. And yeah, nice solid lap here for our first run in Q3. We will come up to the line. We will see where it places us. And will place us in 3rd place. Nice, solid first lap here for Q3. Obviously, we'll be able to get one more run here in this final qualifying session. And yeah, very satisfied with that lap. We'll see if we can beat it in our final run. Making our run to the line here to start said final run. And the good news is I'm still sitting P3, even though a decent amount of time has progressed since my first run. We're going to head into the first corner. We do take just a little bit more curb on that inside, making those active learning adjustments that I mentioned in the Austria SRL race qualifying session. Active learning as the session progresses, finding out where you can improve and executing on that in your following lap. Another solid sector 1, and I was too aggressive on the throttle there. I thought I could gain a little bit more time there if I was just getting the full throttle a little bit quicker. I felt like my first lap was really good, so I already had the mindset that I was really sending it on this lap, because I was not going to beat that lap easily. And yeah, even though it's upsetting that I made the mistake there, at the end of the day, I'm still happy that, I did a lap to the best of my potential, and we should still at least not have a terrible finishing position in this session. And not a bad result at all. We make P5, you can see there briefly, for the race. And yeah, like I said earlier, hopefully not having the bad luck that we've had in seasons past here at France.
Maybe.
As we load into the race, music to my ears. We got some wet weather running, folks. It looks like the wet weather running will take us easily about halfway, a little bit more than halfway throughout the race, easily be able to take one set of wet tires through all the wet weather running. And yeah, hopefully we gain positions here in the wet, because we are always going to be better in the wet compared to the rest of the field than the dry. I've just always been really good in the wet. So yeah, anytime I see the wet weather, you guys know from my previous videos, I am very happy with it. So I was very optimistic going into this session. Got a decent qualifying position, and we get some wet weather running. Things are really looking to turn around for us today. And now time for the start of the race. Hopefully we can get a great launch off the line. Always tricky in the wet weather conditions. We get a much better start than the Williams beside us. You see fighting going on up front. I am tentative coming into the first corner. You see contact ahead of me. We're going to make sure that we give space on the inside. The Red Bull gets loose. We head through. The Williams cuts the corner and gains a position out of it, so he has to back out. And just like that, we have gained 2 spots here in the first sector of this race, and this is exactly the start I was looking for.
Looks like
I know that the wet weather running is my time to be aggressive, and being able to gain 2 positions right off the start, exactly what we need if we want to come home with a podium in this race. 3 flash of the yellows behind, but now right away we can settle into a rhythm in this race with the wet weather running. You got to adjust to these conditions very quickly, which is tricky to do when you're right behind someone else, because you're also limited by what the car in front of you is doing. But I am confident in these conditions, and I'm really hoping that we can pull away from the rest of the field, not have any safety cars during the wet weather running, and allow this portion of the race to help carry me to a potential podium here in this race. Coming to the end of lap 2 here, nothing's really changed. We are pulling away slightly from the cars behind. I am staying right on the butt of the Williams ahead of me, looking for any chance I can to make an overtake. Trying to get, and we have a retirement you can see on the bottom of the screen. And exactly what I did not want. Safety car has now come out. I have no idea what the Williams is doing. Forcing an illegal overtake onto me. It's like he's trying to give me a penalty on purpose. I have no idea. But nonetheless, takes the position back. Safety car is out. And this actually creates a really difficult guessing game that is one of the things I hate about league racing, is that when you have conditions like this that you know are eventually going to change, one variable that you can never predict in F1 games is how quickly it's going to change. There are very extreme circumstances when you can tell, oh, it's going to get very wet very quickly, or it's going to get very dry very quickly. But when you see the weather going gradually from wet to light rain to cloudy to dry, you don't know how fast those transition periods are going to be, which basically means that it's a flat guessing game under safety car whether to go to the inters.
He's taking a gamble since he's
I mean, it's you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. There's no way for you to know if what you're making is the correct decision, but it will completely change your race if you do not guess correctly here. And with still seeing pretty wet, I make the decision here to stay out, and we will see if that is the correct decision.
I guess they all just slowed down a lot.
Unfortunately for us, we choose to stay out here in the leader pit. And as I'm coming around on the next lap behind the safety car, my engineer lets me know that now inters are the fastest tire, which is a word I've been saying a lot lately. It's frustrating because, like I said, it's those kind of conditions. It's just a raw guessing game. There's no way to know for sure. No one gets those right every time. We guessed wrong this time, and it sucks for us because, if we wouldn't have had the safety car, if this would have been green flag weather running, then we wouldn't have this guessing game situation. Everyone would hear from the engineer when it's time to switch over, and then we all switch over and we keep racing as is. But now, because the safety car came out at an awkward time, and we guessed wrong on the 50-50 coin flip, and the weather transition from wet to intermediates extremely quickly, like it literally happened in the course of less than a lap. Inconveniently for us, that now means that we go from 3rd in this race all the way back to 12th at absolutely no fault of our own. So yeah, all you can call that is bad luck because we guessed wrong, and my bad luck races at France continues, I guess, but we're not giving up yet. We still got some wet weather running to come, and we still think that we can get a lot of points and make up a lot of positions under these conditions when we go back to green. And now as the safety car is coming in, getting ready to go back to some green flag racing, hoping to get by this AlphaTauri as soon as possible. Don't get the best launch. I mean, still a fine launch, but like I said, I wanted to get around this guy immediately. Other cars ahead of us that were on the wets did pit, so at least we restart in 7th, only losing 4 positions during the safety car, which still really sucks ass. And yeah, hoping to get right back up there as soon as possible. Maybe some people make some mistakes in front of us, get an easy opportunity to overtake someone. That seems to be happening a lot for us in league racing so far this season. The AlphaTauri gets loose in front of me, but kind of in a difficult spot because there's nowhere to pass him. So I'm just kind of stuck losing time here as he spins his tires. He gets bad traction through the long right-hander, and that is one position that we have gained back now. But now, unfortunately, we are kind of left out for dry because everyone behind us has slipstream except us. But luckily, they don't have enough straight line speed to get alongside us. And now we can start making inroads in the car ahead. Already back up into P6, but I was angry after this. I want to get back up to the front where I know I should be. Now, as we are on lap 8, we are catching up to the other of the AlphaTauris, hoping to get into P5. As you can see, the leaders are absolutely not breaking away from us. We are still very much in this race. You can see my teammate up ahead. Looks like he went a little wide up there, or the other car is trying to go to his inside on the long right-hander. The AlphaTauri runs off the track, so we're going to be aggressive taking this position.
You might want to be careful around this.
He doesn't have the best run down the straight stretch. He doesn't fight it too hard. Probably a smart move. He probably saw that I have pace coming up behind him, so he's going to look to follow me through as I make inroads. And now, right back to P5. Still irritated that I'm 2 positions down from where I should be at this point in the race. But hey, we're still looking good nonetheless. Still catching up to the cars ahead. Now we are going to have our teammate up ahead, so hopefully we don't have too hard of a time getting by him. And a hard time getting by him we would have. As the laps progressed, you'll see right here at the beginning of the lap, I am just a lot faster in Sector 3. But he just has more straight line speed than me. I make a little mistake up there over the curb. We have a car off the track ahead. This could be another position for us. Our teammate's going to battle with him, and just frustratingly, we are stuck behind all of this. No real room to pass here. I consistently had just a little bit more pace than lengths in the wet, and it was just frustrating that I was just stuck behind the whole time. I was, again, too aggressive getting on the throttle there, trying to take every opportunity I can to make the overtake, and then this was the part of the lap where he would always just beat me, just on the straightaways. I would gain on the heavy corner section in Sector 1, just to lose it all and not be able to make the overtakes happen in Sector 2 and 3. Very frustrating portion of the race this was for me. And it didn't seem to matter how close I could get to my teammate in Sector 1, I just couldn't make the pass happen on the straightaway, which just really sucks for 2 reasons. One, because when it does go to dry here eventually, he is going to get the better pit strategy, and I'm going to be stuck behind him in the pits and definitely lose positions in the pits. And again, what really, I get into the back of him there a little bit, so obviously can't overtake him as he was slow going over that curve. Got a little loose into that corner. And again, I will not be able to overtake him in the straightaway. I already decided that I wasn't going to overtake him anyhow on this lap because I did he doesn't go back from there, which was convenient. Yeah, the other reason that sucks is that the reason we're behind him in the first place is no fault of our own. You know, we guessed wrong on a 50-50. Fuck us, I guess. We lose a bunch of spots, and whenever the pit cycles come, we get to lose more spots. So yeah, no luck at all in the race today, but still just shy of half the race to go. Still a lot can change, especially with the changing weather conditions. On lap 15, still in the same spot that I have been, frustratingly in the P5 position.
Try to get around,
and we get ourselves another full safety car, and I make the decision right away. The weather is changing. It is going to be time for dry weather running.
We're going to have to double stack
over. And again, this just really stinks because like
He's
I
been
just
slowing
said.
you down pretty
My
badly.
teammates ahead of me, so
Especially in
I'm just
Sector
gonna
1.
get fucked into pits again.
So you guys were losing about 0.6 or 0.7
Yeah,
a
this
lap.
was an annoying
Yeah,
race
more than half
to
of that's him in Sector
have. You
1,
know,
no
I had
offense.
such a good qualifying, such a good start to the race, and now 2 poorly timed safety cars for us are just gonna
The
absolutely
softs aren't going to
ruin
make it.
us.
The safety car
We're gonna
will
try
come
to be
before
as
the
quick as
soft
possible
comes in.
getting into the pits to leave its little
Now
gap
time
of,
for me to
of
lose
a
a bunch of
possible.
positions in the pits again. No fault of my own.
Yeah, I mean, big gap it's possible behind us. Coming into the pits, I have to do the worst thing to
Oh,
do
yeah, purple
in all
turning.
Formula One league racing
To sit
games, and that is
behind
sit
Lynx.
behind my teammate in the pits as seconds tick by,
Come on, crew. You
and
saw
I
my
will
turn in.
inevitably
It inspired
lose
you.
more
Yes,
positions.
1.9 seconds.
We were
Holy shit.
P5 when we came
Damn,
into the
that's
pits.
fast.
Let's see what we are when we come out.
Red Bull, eat your heart
It
out.
looks like we are going to be P7, but maybe
Seems like
there
you're
are
gonna come
cars
out
that
in
were
7th.
lagging behind that choose not the pit here. And it looks like we're going to
We got
get
caught
out
out
just
behind
in
Sloth and
P7.
Denzo.
So another 2 positions lost for a total
Fan-fucking-tastic.
of what? Where did I restart the last
The
one? I
DJ
went
Jeff
from
Dragon's
P3
behind you, the
to
3-second penalty.
7, so that's 4. So
This whole
that's
race
6
has been a
total
pain in my dick.
positions lost in this race, and no real fault
Damn.
of our own. Which
It's
is
just me, or is
annoying
our-
because we
or
were running
has
in a
our luck
podium
been
spot.
shit so
But now
far?
we're gonna have to fight extra hard for it
Not
towards
great.
the back end of the points here. But hopefully off the restart, Carnage can ensue ahead of us, so we get an opportunity to get right back up there with the front running guys where we know we should be. After a very long wait, the safety car would finally come in. We don't get the best run out of the corner, but luckily there's also a gap behind us, so we don't have to worry about getting overtaken behind. Restarting the race in P7 with 9 laps to go, or 8 laps to go, sorry.
Wait, how many laps do we got?
Let's see how many positions we can
9
gain,
laps.
if any at all. I believe there were a couple cars on tracks that did have penalties. France is a very easy track for people to get penalties on. I've been focusing really hard on not getting penalties and doing a damn good job of it, if I do say so myself.
Ooh,
Contact
spin in
ahead
front
of
of
me, which kind of sucks because I have to
See, I was
slow
Denzo.
down and go over the curbs on the outside,
There's one car
which is
ahead
just
of
going
you.
to set me up for the
Yeah.
car behind me
I got this car right on my
to
butt.
make an overtake. I also lose some slipstream to the car in front. I could have been much closer to him coming down the straight.
I was almost
Luckily, we
unsafe
don't
for
lose a
entry.
position out
They're
of
going
it. But yeah,
3
that
wide.
is. It seems like the little tiny annoying things just keep adding up in this
Side by
race.
side.
Poorly timed safety cars, guessing
That is
wrong,
touchy.
weather, incidents happening in front of me, slowing me down. But hey, at least we get the position out of that. Up into P6. Once again, though, we have to get by the Alpha
Sloth's
Tower.
right
I feel
ahead
like
of
I've
you.
done nothing but pass Alpha Towers in this entire race. But what
So if the
really
car in
stinks
front of
is
you
that we
and
are
behind
just
you have 3
losing
seconds
touch
of
to our
penalties.
teammate
And I
ahead.
got advertisements.
He's going to be able to break slipstream, and on a track that's very easy to follow and has long straightaways,
see anything
it's
for
going to
like
be
2
very
minutes.
annoying for us where we're not going to have the slipstream or DRS of anyone in front of us when we pass the
Yeah,
Alpha Tower, but everyone in their
People are
fucking
getting
mother's going to
penalties
have
everywhere. I can
slipstream
see
on
it
us.
in
So
the
we're
like
really going to
corner,
have to
but I
fight
can't
to
read
keep
who it's
P5
getting
if we can even get P5 in the first place. Let's see if we can do exactly what we did last time, get a better run through the long right-hander. AlphaTauri does get a decent run, but we're very close to him. He does not have slipstream of the car in front. I'm going to burn some of the juice to ensure that I make this overtake happen. And now I got to push as hard as I can to try to get into the slipstream of the cars
Hopefully.
in front. Otherwise, I am just going to be sitting here just waiting to get overtaken down
Hopefully it won't hit
these
you in the
long
butt.
stretches with the DRS. You can just see an entire line of cars behind, and that's something that really does suck about high-level league racing, when people are so close in skill, and you kind of get these packs of
about
cars
2.5
running close
wins.
together. All it takes is one person to get involved of an incident in front of you, and that just kind of fucks
Seems
you
like
for
in
the
that
rest of the
match,
race,
Travado got a
because
3-second
while you
penalty
do
in
gain the
third.
position from them spinning out, you
First and
being
third have
slowed
3
down by the
seconds.
incident just sets you up for situations like this where everyone has slipstream on you behind and you're just set up to be overtaken, but you have no chance of getting towed forward by the cars in front. And then when you battle with the cars behind, it holds you up even more from the cars in front. So it kind of just locks you out of all the positions in front of you, while at the same time just making you increasingly susceptible to be overtaken
You're
from
kind
the
of by
cars
yourself
behind.
out there.
It's one of those little annoying things of
DRS.
leagues like this that are very compact in terms of the skill throughout the entire grid. But hey, it's just the things you can't control. I'm busy trying to focus on the things I can control.
The Sloth and DJ
And let's
just
go as
dragging
quick
it
as we
right on,
can
yeah.
here for the remaining 7 laps of this race.
This guy's
And
probably
nothing
gonna
would really
try
happen
and
for the
pass
rest
him.
of this race. We have the Williams coming up behind us. Absolutely nothing we can do about him overtaking
I mean, he
us.
might
He
help
just
pull you
has
the links, but I don't
endless
know.
amounts of slipstream, and we have absolutely none. We were slowly catching back up to our teammate. We're going to try to
Sloth
use the
said
Williams to get that
1.5
up to him.
back, so you don't have to worry about
But yeah, very frustrating end to this race, to say the very least. And now in the final lap of the race, you can see that the Williams and my teammate are about to
maybe he'll
fight
pass
up
links.
ahead. The Williams goes for the move on my teammate, holds him up a little bit. This is going to allow me to get the slipstream on my teammate, see if I can get the position back.
Looks like he got by links.
Long run up the hill here. He's low in ERS. I'm low in ERS. Everyone in
Gotta
the
get a
lobby's
good run
low
into
in
the
ERS at
last
this
couple
point.
turns.
And
Really get by
unfortunately,
him.
the Williams did not have a penalty. Or did he? No, he did not have a penalty. So right now, I'm just fighting my teammate here, seeing if I can get any position. And through the last couple corners, even though we're running really tight together, it's just so hard to overtake on this section of the track. And just not enough straightaway on the home stretch. So maybe I can do something in the final corner, but I choose instead to make sure I get a really good exit. And maybe if he didn't have the DRS ahead, I might have been able to get alongside him. Probably not, though. But in the end, someone ahead did have a penalty. I think the Williams ended up getting a penalty late in the race. So yeah, we do get by Bradders in terms of the penalty. And it's a P5 finish in the end. I feel like I performed really well in terms of the race. I didn't make any real driving mistakes. It was just a word I've been told I've been saying a lot lately, and it was a frustrating race, you know. We nail our qualifying. We nail the start. We're in P3 on wet weather, right up the butt of Shiz Surface, the guy there in second. Really looking to have a really good run in this race, and then 2 poorly timed safety cars at no fault of our own, losing 6 positions over the course of 2 pit stops, getting held up and losing the slipstream of the cars in head by the incident that happened right in front of us. And yeah, it's just every time I come to France, it just seems like a bunch of inconvenient shit happens. And then all that time being stuck behind my teammate on the wet, it was just watching this one back and making this video is just kind of irritating, you know, because you know the hours that you put in it, especially on this track. I put in hours in getting the setup right, getting my race pace down, getting my qualifying pace down, while at the same time making sure I don't validate. Racing hard, executing honestly really well in the race. I mean, P5 is all right, but that's not what we're looking for here. You know, we're looking for consistent podiums because I know that's what we're capable of. We're good enough, and we should be getting consistent podiums. We had some decent luck at the beginning of the season, but our luck has just been going downhill lately. A lot of inconvenient things happen all around us on track. But hey, next week's race is Hungary, a track that I've historically done extremely well at, one of, if not my best league racing tracks in the game. We will hopefully be looking to turn our luck around because
they're probably as good as the cosmetics are in Hot
inconveniences
Wheels.
galore were in this race, and it's P5 in the
Cosmetics
end,
and Hot Wheels are
frustrating because we know it should have been so much more. But until then, we will see
I tried
you
looking
guys
over the
in
tracks, and
next
it's
one.
like I can't really